All right, guys, I believe we are live. This is the third live stream ever, so we'll see how this goes. Continue to learn my way around the YouTube software and the OBS streaming software. Got a bunch of stuff to keep track of here. It is 10 minutes to 8 a.m. Eastern on Monday, January 8th, 2024. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got setting up for the 8 a.m. hourly close. You can see the hourly chart is here. These are hourly bars. The daily chart is here. These are all the different futures markets that we trade. And we're just going to scroll through here hour by hour and try and find good setups according to the daily forecast. And if you had a chance to catch the daily forecast today, I'm bearish on the indices. I'm bearish on bonds, gold, silver, etc. Even crude oil looks a little bit bearish today, although I am bullish crude on the week. Anyways, it's a work in progress in terms of how the market develops. So we'll just trade what's in front of us as always. Let's go ahead now, and you see me looking around just because I got a lot of stuff to look at here. I believe I've got to turn the webcam on. Just give me a second here. All right, there we are. Got the webcam all fired up. Nice. It is very cold here in Sweden. Got the jacket on, minus 15 degrees Celsius. All right, so let's go ahead and do our check here. Kind of getting the lay of all my screens and everything going on. So to start, as we come upon this 8 a.m. close, we're going to see if there's anything to trade. What I want to show you here is, if we just quickly, this is the daily chart to the far right, the weekly in the middle, the monthly to the far left. This is gold. We can go ahead and just take a quick look at, let's just start with ES. E-mini S&P 500 futures. We had a pretty good congestion entrance move down last week. And the daily, these are kind of tough when it pulls back like this on big volume, but there should continue to be a lot of resistance up in here according to OMA. We've got the true average. The NASDAQ looks a lot weaker. Let's go ahead and look at the NASDAQ as well. And again, there should be a lot of resistance at these highs. Now, if we start to break through these highs, then there's a good chance we're just in the middle of a pullback. It's going to be a better opportunity to short higher later on. We will play the long side and the short side just because I have a bias to the downside for the week. It doesn't mean we can't see good interim rallies that we want to capitalize on. So I will, I'm open to trading the long side as well. Let's go ahead and look at the bonds here. Look at the 30-year. I think bonds look like definitely a good opportunity to short today. Stocks as well, but bonds just look a little better. You see the 30-year, we broke all that support. That low volume area there is holding nicely. This is the composite. So I do think bonds look pretty safe to the short side. Safe, nothing's guaranteed. Let's go ahead. Gold and silver look weak. Look at some silver here. Yeah, silver definitely. I should have held on to that second short that I put on Friday, but hey, made some money, not so bad. So silver definitely going to look for the short side. So that kind of gives a little bit of a foundational aspect of what we're looking for. Let's go ahead now and jump on over to our hourly chart. Just see what we've got shaking. We'll start. The indices kind of, I don't really start trading these until about 9 or 10 when they get going. There's really no pattern here that I want to take on the NASDAQ. I doubt there's a similar one on the Dow at this point. So we're going to focus primarily on the 8 o'clock hour, which is coming up here in about 5 minutes. Got the coffee. We're going to focus on bonds, gold, silver, the markets that kind of get going in the morning. Crude, although I'm not super interested in crude today. I'm waiting for crude to pull back, see how it handles that 72 support level, and then maybe look to play the long side starting from tomorrow on crude. Checking the all the stream stuff here. Current bit rate, I keep getting that. Yeah, it looks good though. I think we're good. Okay. We will just want to leave the stream thingy. I guess I'll just leave it here for now. Biggie, gonna be over here. That'll be good. All right. So with bonds, this is the 10-year. No, sorry, this is the 30-year, and we're looking short. So the question we have to ask ourselves here on this close on the hourly chart that's coming up here at 8 a.m. is this a pattern that I want to short? The answer is no. So that's pretty much how I do it. I jump over to the ultra bonds. Go ahead and check the ultra bonds here. Ultra bonds. Is that a pattern I want to short? No, I don't. Let's look at gold. Oh, gold looking nice and weak, beautiful. It's nice when the forecast is just kind of playing out as expected. Doesn't always happen that way, but when it does, it's nice. So gold, you know, do I have a short pattern here? No. Let's look at silver. Ooh, silver could be looking nice for a short, depending. You know, if we're trending down here on the hourly. We're pulling back now. The daily's bearish for sure. I'm gonna check where we are here. Could certainly be some resistance up here at you know, basically into this level here. You've got the daily point of control, which of course today is also the weekly point of control on the volume profile, right? Because it's the first day of the week, so it's just the weekly volume point of control as well. So the question is, do I want to take action in the middle of the day's volume profile range? Probably not. You can see we've got a pretty balanced profile right now. I talk a lot about this in the volume profile series I'm putting together for you guys. It's a great playlist. Go check that out. And here I'm going to show you how I use it in real time. So I think that's just what kind of differentiates this channel and what I'm doing versus other channels. I actually, you know, put myself out there live on the line every day showing you how this stuff works. I put on my real trades and, you know, they either win or they lose. So it's kind of where the rubber meets the road. You know, you need to be able to use the stuff that I'm teaching you, or it's not really valid, right? So I'm showing you how to use it live in real time. And I think that's just what makes the channel a little different, which is cool. So balance profile here, putting in some volume down here near the lows. I would say, you know, a little bit of a congestion entrance up move right here with OMA. So, you know, there could be some resistance here, but generally speaking, I don't like to take trades around the point of control, right? So in this case, I would just wait and see if we have, you know, a bigger push to the upside. I actually, on Friday, we'll go, it doesn't look like we're going to take anything for the 8 o'clock hour, so we can as well take a look at Friday again here. I posted the replay video on this, but here you can see that was where I took that first short. And, you know, I mentioned I don't normally take trades around the point of control. Sometimes I will, it depends on the situation. But here I shorted, made some money. That was nice. But you can see when you take trades around the point of control, it can be a little bit, you know, more dangerous. I like to trade mean reversion trades away from the point of control back to it. But this was the second one that I took. You know, I regretted not holding that. Would have made a nice win on that, but it is what it is. Nothing's perfect. I wanted to get in up here, which is why I kind of hesitated once I entered here. I thought, you know, shoot, where does my stop have to be if I should be in from back here? But that's fine. That's how trading works. Nothing's perfect, right? So, but these are the kind of trades where silver here had, you know, popped up above and closed back below the value area high. That's just a great spot to, you know, look to get short. So those are the kind of trades that I prefer. Doesn't mean I won't, again, take trades around the point of control. I will, but it's got to be special. Got to be a special situation. And here you can see also, for those of you who know a little bit about Owings market analysis, this is a congestion entrance up pattern. You got to be careful on these. It can be a pullback that, you know, leads to this, or it can be congestion entrance up for a 2-bar push, and then you're kind of bummed if you short here and take a stop, and then you know you should have waited for that push up there. So doesn't always push like that, but is the safer one to wait for. And it's better if you get it. You've got a better risk to reward profile. So I'm not going to short here, as tempting as it is, to be honest, because we do have a down day for silver. And you've got a decent little pullback pattern here at the 8 o'clock hourly close. Go ahead. I'm just checking some other things here. Yeah. I'll leave this be for now. So let's quickly, nothing at the 8 o'clock hourly close that I can see. I haven't really checked copper, platinum. We'll get into that. I'll probably have to start the live stream a little bit earlier so we're prepared for the 8 a.m. check. Sometimes I'll take trades on the 8 a.m. hourly bar if I see something I really like, but generally speaking, I kind of like to get settled, get a lay of the land, see what's going on. That's a pretty good resistance pattern right there. It really is. But again, I'm not going to take it just because of where it is. But I think there's a decent shot it could head lower. Let's see. We're not going to take it. Let's leave that alone for now. And you just can't get FOMO, you know, if trading is not about what it coulda, shoulda. It's not about, oh my goodness, I could have taken that and I didn't, and then it won. Just get all that stuff out of your head. Just focus on the ones you actually want to take, and don't worry about the ones you don't take, right? Like, we don't need to know. We can't know what's going to happen on every market, every hourly close. So I'm only interested in the ones that are jumping out at me, jumping off the page, the ones that I can't pass up. Those are the ones I want to take. And hopefully those are the ones over time that lead to a, 60-40 win-loss percentage, with a decent R factor, 2, 2.5, 3 to 1, whatever. And that's how you can make money over time. So that's how I like to play it. I see here we have there's some icon, my little it's kind of weird. I'll figure this stuff out later. Just kind of getting used to the live stream. There's the little watermark is up on the live stream. I guess that's good. That's how you guys subscribe, and it's kind of down there by where I'm streaming, so that's fine. All right, so here's ES. What we can see here, no pattern for the 8 a.m. hourly close. So when there's no pattern, I don't really need to get into detail on what's going on, because there's no point. We're not going to trade it. We only want to analyze the trades we're going to take. So E-mini S&P 500 there, nada for the 8 o'clock hour. Same thing with the NASDAQ. Not going to take anything. Could go lower, could go higher. Who knows? Let's look at the Dow. No pattern there. Let's look at the Russ. I think the Russell looks quite weak overall for the week. Very weak, actually. The weakest of the indices, in my opinion. So any rallies I will short. But I need a pattern. I don't have one there. Go ahead and look at the 10-year when we drink some coffee and hang out. Beautiful. Very, very cold here in Sweden. You got to have that warm coffee. All right, so here's the 10-year. You see, I'd be normally doing all this by myself, just sitting here, talking myself, thinking myself through the trades as I trade. So I thought, why not share it with you guys? Have fun. Let's see here. This is the 10-year note. Yeah, no pattern there. It's kind of, we're just holding off here. No action. We don't have any major news today. I'll go ahead and check that again, but I believe that's correct. Look at the 30-year. No pattern. Ultra bonds don't have a pattern. Gold, we already determined. No pattern there, although, could push down, could go higher, kind of like silver. Silver, tempting to short, but I've learned over the years, just if the trend is not absolutely firing, you got to be careful on that congestion entrance up bar, especially when you're in the middle of the volume profile. And the volume profile right now is still pretty balanced. Doesn't mean this won't head lower. It just means, I'd like to wait for it to push higher and get a little bit more out of balance. I like to take my trades when the market is out of balance, and the volume area gives a good, sense of when that, when the market is out of balance. So if I can help it, I typically don't transact when I'm around the point of control. All right, let's go ahead. But, like I said in the videos I cover, this is going to be shifting throughout the whole day, right? So we're going to see how the volume profile develops throughout the day. That gives us a lot of very useful information. Go ahead and look at copper, Dr. Copper. We haven't looked at copper yet. Also looking quite weak. The weekly chart on copper is very weak as well. No pattern here, though, for now. We're just looking at things that jump off the page. And that's why I cover all these markets, because, there's platinum. That's pretty interesting right there. It's, that's a nice little exhaust up. Getting kind of close to the value area high right there on platinum. Just kind of looking at some of the other charts here. Let's go ahead and look at volume profiles for the weekly, and these are just the weekly chart to the left here, daily chart here. These are the static. These are developing volume profiles, but I'm really interested in what the static, what the previous volume profiles are telling us. So you can see over here on platinum. Oh no, I got to change the. This is ES. Let's go ahead and flop it over to platinum. I don't have platinum on this chart. Well, let's go ahead and insert a row there. There. All right, let's go. Contract volume with platinum. Sierra charts is a little more clunky compared to TradeStation, but it's worth it because you get just amazing features with the volume profile and everything. So platinum is PLJ. Yeah, it's dropping. This would be a nice short, I think, for platinum, maybe. So I want to. It may drop without us, but let's go ahead. PLJ is the current platinum contract. Boom. All right, here's platinum weekly profile. The daily. Yeah, I'm just gonna probably head down here, I'm guessing, to this old untested point of control. And this particular exhaust here on platinum, see, it's a nice exhaust up for a short back down. Definitely the daily's got a nice resistance pattern there for platinum. Yeah, we're in the upper area of the volume distribution, which is nice. Not quite up near these highs. It's not a bad trade. I'm not in it because I kind of saw it too late, but I think this is probably going to go down. This is the closest. These are the kind of mean reversion trades that I like. I think this will probably head south for the winter, but we will let that one go. Had I seen this right at 8 o'clock here, there's a chance I would have just taken it with a tight stop, but as it was, I didn't catch it. That's why we got to start a little bit earlier, because it took me longer than I was expecting to. I have 3 screens, but apparently I need more. I feel like I need 5 or 6 screens when I'm live streaming and doing all this. So I'll have to go out and get some more screens. It's fine. But it's when you're getting used to the live streaming for the first couple of times, you got your charts, you got I got my brokerage accounts with my depth of market. I've got the OBS software, the YouTube streaming thing. I mean, it's kind of a lot to keep track of. But it's all good in the hood. All right. So that's platinum. That's kind of my number one pick for the 8 o'clock hour, even though we're not in it. No regrets. That's the way trading works. That's the thing too. Sometimes when you're covering all these markets, especially when I first get started, sometimes you just miss trades and there's just not a whole lot you can do about it. The important thing too with trading, don't beat yourself up. Like people just let these decisions they make fester. I could still be festering from Friday because I didn't hold my second silver short that would have added another, grand in profit. Yeah, that would have been nice, but if I let that, get to me, it's going to ruin my day today. So I let that go right after it happens, and then you move on to the next trade, move on to the next session, and just keep it flowing. Here's crude oil. Nice little pullback pattern there on crude, but I wouldn't have taken that. I'm more bullish for crude on the week, but I want to see how price reacts today. Probably not going to trade crude today because it's a bit of a transition day. You got to be careful on those days. Whereas the other markets look, weak, especially bonds. You say, well, if bonds look weak, why didn't I short here? Well, I didn't short here because it's not really giving me the pattern I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for something more like this. Because you guys got to realize something really important that took me a long time to realize, but I see it now so clearly that I'll share it with you. The way that these markets move, the big money's got to get their liquidity. And the only way they get their liquidity, if they want to sell, they need people willing to buy. The only way to get people willing to buy is to jack the price up, get people interested, they start buying. That provides the liquidity for the big boys to sell and push it down. So that's why I like mean reversion trades. I don't like breakout trades. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do well with breakout trades. You can. It's just not what I like. It just makes a lot more sense to me to take mean reversion trades. That's why I focus on them. All right, so that is the ultra bonds there. So the reason I'm not short here, even though I'm bearish ultra bonds, is because I would need a pop or something, which we're not having yet. Go ahead and take a quick look at the euro. Okay, kind of watching paint dry here. It's going to be an interesting day. I mean, the euro here, you can see we had this big outside day from Friday, non-farm payrolls, and sure, this could cause the euro to punch back up here. If that happens, that's a weak dollar, and if that ends up being the case, then stocks could put in a little bit of a rally today. We'll see. Still too early to tell. I'm bearish on the week overall, but in terms of the day, if we look at the Nasdaq here, these are you see you're trending down, and then that almost an outside day there too on the Nasdaq, and you're just kind of sliding in here. I think there's still a lot of resistance, but I think it's a day for caution. Whenever you're coming in on a day, with the euro, especially the Nasdaq, you've got basically those outside bars from Friday. Those are a little bit more tricky to trade, right? So that's something that over time you become aware of that fact, and you just exercise a little bit of caution on those days. So that is that. Let's go ahead and look at, look at the pound. They're all kind of sitting here doing nada. Let's go ahead and look at corn. Don't really start, very rarely will we trade the ags, but I have them up just in case there's nothing else going on. But there's a lot of good volatility right now on the indices, bonds, gold, silver. Those will be our main focus for today. But ags, I'll take a look at, when the stock market opens after they have that pause and the ags reopen at 9:30. Cattle, we almost never will trade, but it's still good to have them there just in case we want to take a look sometimes. Look at Bitcoin. At Bitcoin just kind of in a tight range here. Not really that clear at this moment. The daily looks kind of bullish for Bitcoin, which is interesting because if that's the case, then the euro could get stronger against the dollar, and we could see stocks attempt to put in a little bit of a relief rally today. Maybe. We'll see. All right. So that's it, guys. That's how we do our checks and get ourselves nice and comfy and prepared for the day, and then just take it hour by hour, knowing where we want to potentially take action, and let the trades come to us and let the results take care of themselves. That is how we have to do it. I'm just going to go quickly look at that platinum chart again. Yeah, I think platinum, that's kind of the one I wish I was short right now, because that was the kind of trade I'm looking for. That was a good pullback right into that pocket resistance area. That's a nice move right there for platinum. But that has left the station without us. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and just mute the mic and cut the webcam for now, but I'll be back in a moment. Just going to leave the live stream running. Just cutting the webcam, and I'll go ahead and mute right now. Alrighty, guys, I'm back. Got to refill the coffee. Got some chocolate, some cookies from the wife. Happy about that. Yeah, platinum dropping nicely. Kind of the one that got away at the 8 o'clock hour, but that's all right. As I mentioned, we will start streaming a little early from now on, because I realize how long it takes me to get stuff set up. So that's fine. But that's a good trade right there. And I want to remind you guys that the key to trading is preparation, right? So I spend most of my time here on the stream analyzing, setting up for the next hourly close, so that I'm prepared to take a trade when I see something that I like. So right now it's 8:20 a.m. Eastern. Gonna again just verify that we don't have any major news coming out. Check this. And let's see. No news. We've got nada. CPI is later in the week. All right, so no major news coming out. So we basically just spend the time in between each hourly check preparing for the next hour, right? So we got to ask ourselves if today is going to be, let's say, if it's going to be a bounce day for, say, the NASDAQ, which we're looking at the NASDAQ daily volume profile chart here, weekly volume profile chart here. If we're going to have a bounce day, where might we bounce back to? Well, you can see you got the weekly point of control back here. That's not a bad area there. The action from Friday, you got the last couple of value area highs in here. So could certainly bounce up in here today somewhere, and set up the short for later in the day or tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on that. Go ahead and look at platinum again. That was the one that kind of wish I had checked in time to get short. But to be honest, we don't really have, I mean, if you look at platinum chart, if we go back over here and look at the platinum chart. So here you can see, that did set up near the value area high on the daily. But when you look at the actual overall daily volume profile chart, you're still, you're near the lower end of the range for the day. Could be some temporary support down here. So we just want to wait for the trades where everything lines up and you can't pass it up. If you do that, you'll have success with trading. It's all the little trades that you shouldn't take that nickel and dime you, while you should be waiting for the really good trades. Those are the ones that really hurt. So those are the ones that affect the mental capital and the account balance. So that's why I like to wait for the best trades. See on platinum right here, even if you shorted, probably already would have been a good place to take some profit down here at these lows. You can see these are some old value area lows from previous days. But the value area low, so you just kind of cycled from the high back down to the low of the value area for platinum. All right. So let's start cycling through all the charts again, and we'll see. Got the coffee. Delicious. I don't normally drink coffee this late, but it's so dark and cold here in Sweden. But sometimes you gotta have some coffee to get through the day. I have coffee every morning, obviously, but just not usually in the afternoons here. But today's a special day. It's a Monday. All right. So what we can see here on the hourly S&P 500 chart is that we're trending higher. I'm obviously not going to be looking to participate in this trend run to the upside today. We may end up going a lot higher. I have no idea. But the charts overall are still extremely bearish. And until that higher time period picture changes, I'm going to be looking to short rallies on the indices. So this is how I prepare for each upcoming hourly close. I have to kind of put myself in a position to imagine what might happen. Let's say that this spiked up here to 47.48 or something, right? You'd be getting close to the resistance area for the day there. I'd have to ask myself, I think where you've got some really good resistance is, up near the the weekly point of control from last week at like 47.56. That's all kind of up here near these highs. So that's kind of my main area of interest for right now, is that weekly point of control from last week at 47.56, thereabouts. So the NASDAQ, we can see the weekly point of control from last week is about 16,580, give or take. Maybe headed back up there, we'll see. Bit of stretching. You got to stay limber. Not looking like I want to do anything here. The Dow. Don't want to do anything here for the Dow. And at the Russell 2000. And this is the one I do like. If I go ahead and draw your attention here to the monthly, weekly, daily charts, you can see the monthly. And I gotta go ahead and switch this again. Here's the Russell. Boom. Beautiful 2-bar push here on the monthly chart for the Russell 2000. Means that the monthly is most likely on its way back down to middle of moving average envelope, I would say 1850. That's quite a bit lower than where we are now. And the first signs of confirmation that we have that that's happening is look at all this, trend run up on the weekly chart, and then just bang, congestion entrance down with authority on big volume. That true average is probably going to be pretty darn strong resistance, and therefore rallies need to be sold into right now for the Russell 2000. That's what I'm looking for. It's kind of my weakest of the 4 major stock index futures right now. Is the Russell's the weakest, the NASDAQ's in number 2 weakest. So in strength, the Dow is the strongest right now, holding up a little bit better than the rest. S&P after that. And then the NASDAQ is toward the bottom in terms of it's very weak, and the Russell is the weakest right now. That's what I'm seeing on the charts. So back to the Russell intraday charts, what you can see here is, if we were to ask ourselves, looking at Russell, weekly daily volume profile, and switch this over to Russ. Boom. All right. So you can see you got the point of control from last week on the Russell up there at 1995-ish. And on the daily, I just think pretty balanced day overall on Friday. Point of control here. I think the Russ is going to continue to be pretty weak. That is what I'm looking for today. So if we get I'm not just going to trade it in the middle of the zone. You can see we're hanging out in the middle of the volume profile area right now, but certainly if we get a nice pop, it would be a good opportunity to short the Russell. And then bonds, I really, really like on the short side, but they would need to, give me a nice good pop. You can see the value area for bonds is, you tested higher out of balance earlier, big exhaust during London, got sold into. Not a lot of volume here, so another test up in here I think would make for a good short for, this is the 30-year bond, and then the same with the ultra bond here, but we're just patiently waiting. So the question would be, if we got on the ultra bond here, let's just imagine that this hourly closed up in here. We'd have to see how much volume coming in. Does the value area shift higher? Are we at the value area high? That's a trade today that I'd be willing to take a shot at in terms of shorting bonds, if that's set up. Generally, Mondays, you got to kind of be careful because the weekly value area, the weekly point of control is still being worked out, obviously. So the Monday point of control is the point of control for the week right now, right? So it's not, we don't have much information from a weekly perspective, but and that is important. So just got to always be a little bit more careful on Mondays. Then you got to refer back to the information that you have from Friday for the key weekly levels from last week. So if we look at the ultra bonds, key weekly levels from last week, what we can see, here's the volume information. Excuse me. We've got a frog in my throat, gallo en la garganta. I believe that's how you say it in Spanish, but can't really remember. Here. Yeah, you can see not a lot of volume here on the weekly profile from last week for the ultra bonds. I do think we're kind of sailing down and through this. I expect rallies to be pretty well capped. Daily, yeah, you got point of control from Friday is right in here at 22. That'll be an interesting area to watch. And then I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but I kind of don't think we're going to get back to the value area high from Friday, but if we did, that'd be a great resistance level. So we'll keep an eye on ultra bond. These are all the things. This is why trading is more of an art rather than a science, because there's a lot that goes into making good decisions for every trade. Drag this chart here. All right. Gold. Silver. So we've got silver. Yeah, like I said, trying to push a little higher. I'm waiting for it to get up over the value area high. And ultra bonds, I think, is probably going to be our best bet for the 9 o'clock hour, looking to go short depending on where that hourly bar closes. That's what I'm liking right now for the moment across all the futures markets. Of course, if silver gets back up here, it's going to be a great short later. But I do like the ultra bonds, you know, up in this area somewhere. See what the 30 year's doing. Same with the 30 year. There's a lot of resistance up in here, and you can see that London, you know, already confirmed that we indeed do have a lot of resistance right up in this area. You can see the volume profile very thin up here, so it's a rejection zone. And again, when we look at the volume profile, the weekly profile from last week, here's the ultra bond again. You can see the weekly volume profile on the left. You've got very thin volume zone here, right? So that looks like we're ripping down and through it. That is a sign of a trend because we haven't found balance yet. And I don't think we're going to find balance today. I think rallies will be sold into. Rates continue to grind a little higher, so bonds should continue to drop. And you can see here on the daily chart. Oh, my child's home. Oh, wow, she got a present. Wow, I can look at it later. The door's open. Family just got home. So you can see all these. My office is looking out to the street. You can see all these yellow dots here. These are key OMA levels. Those were pretty good support levels last week that got broken. So all that support should, of course, turn to resistance. So far it is. And I expect that resistance to continue to hold. So that is what we're waiting for. We have one viewer. All right, we're making some serious progress. Well, as the word gets out and people realize we do indeed know what we're doing, then it's going to be fun to build some more viewers. Don't be shy. Say hello in the chat. You can be our first viewer chat ever. And I will have a piece of chocolate while we're waiting. Cookie. Delish. All right. Let's see here. Well, I think I scared my one viewer off. That was a delicious homemade cookie and dark chocolate. You got to figure out how to pin these comments so people know what the schedule is here. Let's go ahead and check back in with platinum. You need to drop nicely. All right, guys, I'm going to leave the stream running, but I'm just going to be back about 8:37 right now. And we'll get ready for our 9 a.m. check in about 10 minutes. Starting at 8:45 a.m., we'll cycle through the charts. Right now, I like Ultra Bonds, 30-year, kind of getting up into an interesting resistance zone, potentially to short. So keep an eye on those. Going to take a look and see where silver's at. Platinum's already leading us lower, which is nice. So I'm going to check these in about 10 minutes, but for now, I'm going to go say hi to my wonderful wife and daughter. I'll be right back. I'll leave the stream running. See, where's all my control panel stuff? There it is. Alrighty, we're getting ready for the 9 a.m. hourly check here in about 15 minutes. It's almost 8:45 a.m. Got the hourly chart here in front of us, the daily to the left. And for those of you who are new, we're just cycling through all the futures markets, waiting for good setups on the hourly chart. You can see, I think my camera looks like it's in a good spot. Let me know how the audio is doing, the webcam. This is all new for me to stream this. Normally I'm just trading my own money by myself, so this is a lot more fun. So let's go ahead here and minimize that. And here we are. All right. So it's important to make sure we're always checking the hourly closes well before the hourly actually closes, so we know if we want to take the trade. So for example, I talked about this earlier with platinum. This was kind of the trade that I was looking for. Really good opportunity here to go short into resistance. You're at the upper range of the volume profile, value area high up here. Nice little exhaust. I just didn't catch it in time because this was for the 8 o'clock hourly close. And I got to start setting up my streaming stuff a little bit earlier. Didn't realize it would take so long. Anyways, the whole point with that is that this is why you have to prepare heading into the hourly close, because these things move fast. There's a lot of volume that comes in at the close of every hour, and we've got to be ready. If we, want to short the market or go long, we need to have, all of our reasons worked out beforehand. So when the hourly closes, we're ready to place that trade. So that's how I like to structure it. The hourly charts keep me anchored from hour to hour throughout the day, just waiting for what I deem to be the highest probability setups possible. Here you can see this is the E-mini S&P 500 futures contract. The hourly is grinding higher, but I'm not interested in transacting in this area for a variety of different reasons. We'd have to push quite a bit higher. So I'm not, I think the stock indices are going to be pretty choppy today with that outside day that we had on the euro on Friday from NFP. You've also got an outside day here, almost, not quite, but close. Anyways, you got to exercise caution after days like that. So when you can see it, it's good to know, keeps you out of trouble. Don't want to spend our capital or our mental capital on bad trades if we can help it. All right, so that is the E-mini S&P 500. Again, I go through all the futures markets constantly throughout the day because this is how I'm, staying up to speed on what's going on, because everything's also connected. You've got, we're covering the, stocks, bonds, metals, energies, currencies, and then we will look at the agriculturals. We'll look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. We'll look at some, cattle and hogs sometimes, but the main markets, are the main markets you can think of: stocks, bonds, currencies, metals, and energies. And they're all, there's an interplay between these, right? So today, for example, we can see if we look at the euro here, you can see that the euro had this is the futures contract, big outside day here, right? Euro dollar. And it looks like it's going to be a messy day. I don't really see, evidence that the dollar is going to have a, strong day today. So if the dollar is not looking like it's going to be particularly strong today, then that's probably going to put a little bit of a support floor under stocks. It might put a support floor, under gold and silver. So even though I'm bearish stocks, bearish gold, silver for the week, if the dollar's not catching a bid today, which so far it's not, then I'm just going to be a bit more patient in waiting for those setups because they're all interconnected. With that said, the bonds do look the best in terms of shorting. You can see this was the resistance level I was kind of hoping we'd close up into for the 9 a.m. hourly close, but it already got sold into intra-bar there. That just kind of reaffirms what we're seeing on the bonds. This is the ultra bond, and the 30-year is likely looking the same. Yeah. So you can see it already went to the value area high and got shot down right at the extension here. Boom, like that. So I'm just going to stay patient. I think it's going to be, a day. We've come into the day with our game plan, know what we want to do. Posted all this in the weekly forecast yesterday as I prepare for the week every week. And then just come in and let the market come to us. We don't force anything. And the market will give us plenty of opportunities. We don't have to force our will onto the market. We can wait. And that is what we, the royal we, that's what we do. All right. So it's 8:48 a.m., which means it's soon time for some dark chocolate and a homemade cookie again, because it's It's almost 3 p.m. here in Sweden. I gotta say, I do like the streaming. It's kind of fun. Gotta learn how to do it, but it adds an element of pressure to the live trading for sure, which is, you know, we'll see how that goes. But on Friday it went well, and at the end of the day, I just have to put on the trades I take anyway. So just it's good to practice, you know, doing it in public because you're really putting yourself out there. So that's kind of fun. I enjoy that challenge. And then just all the technical stuff is kind of interesting. You got the OBS software, you've got the YouTube live streaming dashboard. I've got, you know, 5,000 charts all over the place. So it's kind of just getting used to how all these things are set up. But it's, for the second day, it's going all right. And on Friday, I had a good day shorting silver. Again, wish I'd held on to that second short, but you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. Sometimes you don't hang on. Anyways, a profitable day, and not going to complain about that. All right. Yeah, we don't have any major news this week until CPI, I believe, on Thursday. But that doesn't change the fact that the markets look extremely bearish. Go ahead and check in with the Russell. Things will get, you know, cooking once the stock market opens here in about 40 minutes. But I always like to start at 8 because bonds, gold, silver, currencies sometimes, you know, platinum, copper, these markets start to move around 8 a.m. typically. And if you wait until the stock market opens, sometimes you can miss really good moves like this one on platinum that, you know, like I said, I wish I had seen this a little sooner. I would have definitely shorted that. And you miss moves like that if you start when the stock market opens, which is why the early bird gets the worm. Very important. All right, let's go look at the Russ. The Russell, I do think, is going to be the weakest of the four this week. ES, NQ, Dow, Russell. I think the Russell is a nice one to short. We had some unusual heavy put activity on the Russell 2000 ETF, the IWM options. Up, somebody sold a lot of calls up above, so they're not counting on price going back up there. And neither am I, looking at these charts. But it's not looking like we're going to get a short here for the 9 a.m. hourly close for the Russell. Because you guys got to realize this, that it's really important. You want to take trades where everything is lining up. And, you know, for example, if I'm looking to short, let's say the Russell today, right? You know, do I just want to take a short, you know, right here in the middle of the hourly range? You know, no. If I can help it, no, I don't want to do that, because this is where all this chop and garbage is going to be. You know, this is the kind of stuff that'll chew you up, spit you out, exhaust you. You know, you take small losses. It's not fun. Just got to wait. You know, we want markets that are out of balance. So we've got the OMA, which tells us, you know, my patterns, types of trading, all that kind of good stuff. And then we've got the volume profile, which really just gives us a great idea of where we are relative to all the volume that's, you know, being traded today. And this is shifting constantly throughout the day. And that also gives us a lot of information depending on, you know, how the day is developing and how the volume profile is shifting. I'm in the process of putting together a series on volume profile and how that all works. I think I've already got 4 or 5 videos in that playlist on the channel, so go check that out. It's not an easy topic to understand, but I think I'm explaining it in a way that hopefully will make it easy for you guys to understand. But volume profile is really important, and it does, you know, why more people don't use it, I have no idea, but hey, that's fine. Those of us who use it can keep the edge longer, which is great. But I think that there'll always be an edge with it, because it's not a science. It's not, you know, you're not trading volume profile and if A, then B. It doesn't work that way. It's more of an art, right? So that's why the edge will be there when you learn how to, you know, read it and use it to your advantage. All right, 8:53 a.m. Let's just cycle through here again. The summary so far today. The only trade I saw that I wish I'd taken was, you guessed it, platinum, but that is now in the past. So got to start earlier to make sure I'm ready to go for the 8 o'clock hour. I learned that today. Important message, no big deal. So for the 9 o'clock hour here, okay, S&P 500. See, it moves a lot, right? So you got to be prepared. Do we want to take anything here? No, we don't. This is just, we're in the middle of this zone. I know immediately I don't want to have anything to do with stocks right now for the 9 o'clock hour at all. You can see the NASDAQ here is trying to get up and through the value area high, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it do that. But am I going to bet on a breakout to the upside right now for the NASDAQ? No. I do think it's looking a little bullish at this exact moment, but I like to trade in line with the higher time period. So the monthly, the weekly, the daily overall, everything is bearish right now in my view for stocks. So, you know, I'm kind of waiting for the best opportunities to get short. Doesn't mean I won't take longs. If something jumps out at me, I will. I've got an open mind. But generally speaking, I know that I want to trade in the direction of the higher time period chart, so I'm waiting for that. So NASDAQ, do I want to take anything here at the 9 o'clock hour? The answer is no. Russell and Dow, the answer is going to be no. Let's go ahead and look at bonds, because those were, you know, kind of interesting when we were up here earlier, but now we're heading lower as is expected here. A bearish day for bonds, but I need a pop, right? So for me, these are the kind of trades I'm looking for. They get way out of balance, and then you can get short, and they got to come back in balance. These are my favorite trades. They're the trades that I like to wait for. All right, so here's the Ultra Bond, hourly heading lower as expected, which means what? Rates are continuing to head higher, which means that the stock market rallies are probably going to continue to be capped as long as bonds keep dropping, but we want to see a little bit of flows into the dollar, which we haven't seen yet today. So we're going to have to see how that progresses with the flows into the dollar. Yo, Andreas. What's up, dude? Here, I'll test the chat out. Like, all right, we got a viewer. It's kind of fun. I'm learning how all this stuff works. Is the audio and the video coming across all right? Oh, nice. Well, don't type and drive. Ez, what's up, dude? How you doing, man? You know what's funny? I can't really see who's viewing, only when you guys chat. Ez, I got your message. I've been telling myself I got to get back to you, but as you can see, I've been busy with all this stuff. Cool, guys. Yeah, well, you know, get your accounts open and start taking some trades and make some money with me. Why not? Friday was a good day shorting silver. Should have made more, but made some. And today, as you've probably been hearing me rant about, I wish I was short platinum from here at 966. I just got a little bit of a late start, so I'm not short platinum, but I would be. And we're just waiting for trades like this that we can take. Okay, cool. I'm glad the audio and the video are coming across clear. Ez, what about you? Is the signal reaching all the way down to Argentina okay? Andreas, how's the weather there in Austria? It's freezing up here in Sweden right now. It's like so cold. Gotta get a cookie and some chocolate, you guys. Gotta stay awake. There is a bit of a delay. I'm noticing it's about, I want to say 5 seconds maybe. I'm not sure. How's it? Didn't you guys just have that good election, Ez? That guy's going to change the country, right? I think all the young people are happy. Yeah, it's cold there too, Andreas. Yeah. Be careful driving in the snow. I guess the bus is pretty heavy. You got good change, right? I hope you guys can't hear me chewing in the mic. I got to have the chocolate. We're definitely going to grow the live streaming channel because we're doing something different, which is calling out trades before they happen. I mean, I've seen a lot of channels. Nobody's really doing that, so pretty excited to see what happens. Assuming the trades work, which hopefully they do. Bitcoin. Okay, we'll look at Bitcoin here in a second. As I'll do, we'll look at some Bitcoin. I looked at it earlier, but let me just make a quick check here and make sure I'm not missing anything for the 9 o'clock hour. I don't think I am. There's crude. It's good you guys are here. It's good practice to look at the chat while I'm, going through the charts. Yeah, the euro's getting stronger against the dollar. Yeah, I don't see anything I like for the 9 o'clock hour. It's kind of a slow day. All right, as you want to take a quick look at Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin. These are the futures. Andreas, if you have a request, let me know. I'll look at a market. Okay, yeah, see you, buddy. Take care. Drive safely. I got your message, by the way. I'll get back to you too. I've just been lazy about WhatsApp, but good to hear from you. Glad that all's well. Cheers. Let's see here. Here. So as if you're still here, I can give you a little bit of a sense of what's going on with Bitcoin. But if you're not here, I won't really spend my time because I don't care too much about Bitcoin right now. This is the okay, you're here. All right. Well, here's the monthly chart on Bitcoin. Here's the weekly chart. Here's the daily chart, right? And really, in order to get good, accurate data, we've got to look at the yearly and the quarterly charts, which is so good about this new software I'm using with Sierra Charts. We get all this volume profile information, and we also get yearly and quarterly charts, which is awesome. So if I go here to open, like I'll open my yearly and quarterly charts. Yeah. Here we go. Open. There be light. There is light. Here we go. This is the here. Yearly, quarterly. There they are. Okay. Go ahead and bring it over here. Here's the monthly Bitcoin. No, this is crude, but I'll change it to Bitcoin. Here's the quarterly. Here's the yearly. Ez, by the way, help grow the chat. You got to go get all your amigos. Get them to get into the live stream. Give the thumbs up. We'll grow the channel. We'll get rich. I'll send you some cash. Be good, amigo. All right. So let's go ahead and switch this over to Bitcoin. Here we go. Got to download some data. My little child is screaming. Beautiful to be a parent. No, she's great. The preschool's closed today. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. Okay, so here's the monthly chart as for Bitcoin. Here's the quarterly chart, right? So this is quarterly, big deal. Here's the yearly chart, right? So this is all very important, right? Because you can see here's that, you know, crazy fake out we had, the all-time high, crash back down. Now we're pushing higher here in 2023. The question is, what do we expect, you know, for 2024? Obviously, doesn't matter what has happened. What matters is what's going to happen. But with Bitcoin here, you know, I will tell you that right now, you know, it's tough to read, to be honest with you. It's not clear, and the reason is because you have a lot of resistance here that might hold, but right now it might be in the early stages of breaking. So until it holds or breaks either way, it's kind of hard to say what Bitcoin wants to do. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait. And the reason I'm a little cautious on Bitcoin right now is because when you look at the bond market, you look at the US dollar, you look at the stock market, you look at the metals, gold, silver, right? I know Bitcoin is kind of in a world of its own, but it looks like we're heading towards a little bit of a liquidity event. It looks like, you know, the other asset classes are heading down. So right now, Bitcoin is kind of, you know, bucking the trend a little by heading higher while everything else is heading lower. But I don't know if that's going to hold up. So we need to wait and see. Because if you look here, this is what's really, really ominous for the stock market. Ominous means the stock market is, well, I was going to use a very bad word, but I don't know if I'm allowed to here on YouTube. Yeah, it's marked no for children. Okay, ominous means the stock market is fucked. So what we can see here, this is the yearly chart for the NASDAQ, guys. Not looking good at all. A lot of a ton of resistance up here. I think we're going to see this year. Maybe. We'll have to see, but it's looking like we're finally in congestion on the yearly chart. Here's, you know, this is the end of that big bull market. Congestion, entrance down. Last year, rally back to the highs, suck in all the retail money up in here. Oh, we're going to the moon. This is where all the insiders start selling, and bang, we're going to go down. So nothing's guaranteed. I don't know for sure, but that's what it's looking like. The quarterly has a nice exhaust here. Looks bearish. The monthly has a nice pattern to head down. So then when we look at right here, the weekly NASDAQ, right? This is the monthly, weekly. I mean, that's a big move down on the weekly, confirming all that higher time period, you know, yearly, quarterly, monthly energy on the NASDAQ. So my point with all this is that if stocks are going to start getting hammered, I don't think Bitcoin's just going to go into its own little, you know, world and start heading higher. It might do that. It might, but, you know, I got to wait for a little bit more confirmation. Yeah, if the ETF gets approved, obviously that's going to, everybody thinks that that's going to make Bitcoin pop. I think it could. What's the date for that? I was talking to a buddy about that as well. He's waiting for that ETF approval. Okay, so right now with Bitcoin, what's interesting is that we're right at the volume point of control from you know, from that big move up that we had. So that's really interesting. I'll show you what that means. So you see, this is the hourly chart and this is the weekly volume profile. So you see the hourly Bitcoin pushing higher today, but you see this orange line here? This is the volume point of control for the week back here when you had that big gap up move on Bitcoin. So this was the most heavily traded price for Bitcoin when it had that big gap up, right? And everybody thought it was going to the moon. So if people need to, you know, we're at 45,600 right now. This is going to be you can see it already got rejected. This is going to be a key level for Bitcoin today, at least the futures, 45,600, because if people are feeling like they're offsides from that gap up where they all bought, that's the most heavily traded price where they bought, right? So this is where they'll look to dump if we start heading lower. And you can see today's volume, this week's volume point of control is already coming in up here and we're dropping, which tells you there is some selling coming in here. So, you know, point that out. Bitcoin, it's going to be a very interesting week. The daily looks bullish to me today, but I don't know. It's going to have to get through that 45,600 level first. All right. That's Bitcoin. We'll see what happens, amigo. How's everything else? All right. By the way, I can't even see on my software if you're here or not here or whatever. No worries. I do this for myself anyways. But if you do have questions, let me know. I'm happy to help because I'm waiting for my signals to mature during the day. Normally, I just wait and watch YouTube, you know, videos of, you know, funny animal videos. But now at least I get to do a live stream and have a little fun. Oh, this week. Okay, that's when the live stream. Sorry, the ETF. Nice. Cool. So it'll be an interesting week, that's for sure. All right. So we got the. Oh, I was up late last night watching a good movie. It's an old movie. I think it won an Academy Award with Russell Crowe called Cinderella Man. It's about a boxer. It was really good. But I was up a little bit too late. So I'm kind of tired today. And I got to get back to the sun, amigo. It's freezing here. My goodness. All right. So, fun to have some good friends in the chat. Andreas, drive your bus carefully in Austria. What time is it in Argentina, Ez? Is it 8 in the morning for you? I can't remember. Are you guys an hour behind New York? Maybe you're an hour ahead. Is it 10 there? I gotta check. All right, so here is E-mini S&P 500. You see, we're just, the key to trading, especially day trading, is just to stay out of this garbage here. So 11. Oh, okay, so you guys are 2 hours. Nice. How's the weather? Is it good weather there? My webcam, I would show you out on the street here, dude. It's minus 15 degrees Celsius here. Freezing. Not fun. All right, here's the NASDAQ. Just making sure we didn't miss anything for the 9 o'clock hour. No, Dow. At least we'll get some volatility when the stock market opens here in about 20 minutes. But for now, not a whole lot going on. Let's look at the bonds again. The bonds. Yeah, I'm waiting to short, so I'm not doing anything down in here for bonds. Cool weather? How cool? Like, you guys are on Celsius, right? What is it, like 15 degrees Celsius? Is that cool for you? Probably, right? Well, what's your elevation where you are? Is it, it's kind of mountainous, right? So it can get a little chilly. All right, while I wait for you. Okay, we'll look at gold here. Yeah, so gold's got a little bit of a... this could be a little bit of a buy pattern down here for gold for the 9 o'clock hour. I wouldn't be surprised to see gold push higher here, but I'm not going to buy it because I'm bearish today on gold. But I do think we could see a little bit of a bounce, and we'll see what happens. Certainly you're at the value area low. Point of controls down here. I've done videos on this. There's probably a lot of support here temporarily. Looking for a move back up here. That's what I think for gold. And I'll let you, I let you guys know when I'm taking the trades. Believe me, I gotta like manage my own trade. So the whole point of me pointing all this stuff out to you is because I'm constantly thinking about for myself, where do I want to take my next trade? I got to fix this bit rate with the stream. Is it freezing on your side, or is it coming through clear without like freezing and stuff? The picture, I mean. Because on mine, it kind of like, I don't know, it freezes sometimes. I'll get used to it. Okay, yeah, so here's silver pushing higher. So for the 9 o'clock hour, so gold will probably push higher as well. But we're not interested in buying that. Here's copper. Here is platinum. Breaking my heart that I missed that short on platinum. So look at crude. Kind of a key level here for crude. I'm not interested in trading crude today, but kind of curious to see how it holds up. The this is natural gas. Natural gas. No pattern here. Let's look at the euro against the dollar again. Very quiet day so far. Look at the pound. It'll get going when the stock market opens here in about 15 minutes. Pound kind of quiet. The agriculturals, corn, wheat, soybeans, those will all open when the stock market opens. So we'll take a look at those. And then the Bitcoin hourly chart is here. So this is Bitcoin on the hourly. Don't want to trade anything here. It looks pretty bullish today though, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Let's look at Ethereum. Pretty bullish here on Ethereum. All right. So we will turn our focus back to the NASDAQ for the stock market open. Probably going to see a little bit of a bounce. I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Pause the video here. I'll leave the stream running. I'm just going to cut my webcam and mute my mic while I use the restroom and do a few things. Stock market's opening in about 15-16 minutes. I'll be back. I'll be back in like 5-10 minutes so we can see what's shaking before the stock market opens. Thanks for being here, you guys. It's a lot of fun. We can make some money together. Okay, so where's my webcam thing there? Boom. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm gonna go ahead and make you a moderator I'll give you a wrench. I don't know how to do that. It just means you have special powers in the chat. You can kick people out if they start talking shit. And I'll give one to you too, Andreas. You can get a wrench, but I gotta see how to do that. So let's see. I click here on your name as, and I say add as a moderator. Let's see. Okay, yeah, here, you're a moderator as, boom. Andreas, I'll give you moderator too. All right, you guys are my first moderators. Now you guys have the power to kick people out of the chat as you see fit. Good luck. Low day, but I guess it's to be expected. We had a big drop here last week. All right, so stock market's going to open here in 10 minutes. Pushing higher here, kind of as I expected. Gold and silver. Interesting to see gold continuing to leak lower as silver pushes higher. I mean, silver would be a great short if we, let's just say, for the 10 o'clock hour, if silver popped up here somewhere outside the value area high, you're in the daily resistance zone, I wouldn't mind shorting silver up there. Because you got last week's, the weekly point of control from last week for silver is right at 23.20. That could be resistance today. We'll see about that for silver. Here's copper, not much shaken. Platinum leaking lower. Crude pushing lower. All right, let's see. Since we're waiting until the 10 o'clock hour to make any trades, we'll go ahead and turn our attention to the stock market because it's going to open here in about 9 minutes, and we can see the Russell, for example. I'm quite bearish on the Russell this week, as you all know. And if I'm bearish on the Russell, that means that, you know, with the opening volatility here in the stock market, sometimes I'll set an order, you know, way outside, because with the opening volatility, we can sometimes, I don't want to call it a scalp because I don't scalp, but it's sort of just picking off one of the opening range trades. So I have to see if I have any good levels here for the Russell 2000, because it's the one I'm the most bearish on, right? So if we take a look, for example, at the weekly chart here, point of control from last week is about 1976, 1977, which is right up in here. This is the point of control from last week. That happens to be right at the middle of the moving average envelope here on the daily. We've got some resistance up there for sure. You know, it could be maybe a good place to try and short the Russell at the open. We'll see. Let's go ahead and see. We also have the true average there on the weekly. I'm just getting that exact price. Oops. My chart settings. Button. Chart by crosshair. Boom. So that is the true average right there at 1980 for the weekly. Basically. 1982 is the, so that's also, you know, kind of in that range for the point of control. Let's go ahead and look at the daily and the weekly volume profiles here for the Russell, because this is what I'm kind of interested in terms of maybe putting on an order to get short. So here you can see there's the weekly point of control I was just talking about at like 1986-ish, I think. That exact number again. 1989 here. Okay. That's different. Doesn't matter. That later. So. I mean, Oh, I think I know why. I got to adjust that. That's not based on the, I think I got to make this tick data more accurate. The weekly volume point of control is not really there. True weekly volume point of control is here from last week. You can see based on the tick data here, what we can see, there's the weekly volume point of control there, coming in about 1976, 1977. Kind of in the mid range of last week. That's the true weekly volume point of control. Good to know. For the Russell, market will open in 6 minutes. Here's the I get to the hourly chart here for the Russ. Here you go. There we go. It's kind of what we want to see. Let me get my my depth of market over here set to the Russell 2000. All right, we're on the Russell. So if we were to get a pop here at the open in 5 minutes on the Russell, you know, back to the point of control for last week, I might try a short-term trade from there. We'll just have to see, because it was, it's also a pretty good low volume rejection area for today. So if we look here at the daily volume profile up here, you can see that that's the weekly volume point of control from last week coming across. That's why price got rejected there, right? So if we were to go up and make a double top up there right now, you know, it could be something I would maybe be interested in. I would prefer if the extension trend line there would be, you know, further up there. So I'll let you guys know if I take a trade. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm interested to see if we spike up and we test these highs here at 1977. That's last week's volume point of control. Just kind of see, you know, what price does up in that area. Maybe take a short. We'll just have to see. So we've got about 4 minutes until the stock market opens. Well, 3 minutes now. Let's have some water. Stretching. Oh, get ready. Very slow day. Sometimes that is how the cookie crumbles. So let's just see how the Russell reacts. We continue to have a slow day. I'm going to have to go to the gym and go to the spa and do an ice bath, a sauna. Only thing, I have the best gym here, but the only thing that sucks is that it closes at 7 p.m. That's because it's at a hotel. Streaming for an hour and 38 minutes. This is the price you pay. Trade for a living. You stand and you watch paint dry. At least it's more fun to watch paint dry live. I got my artificial sun here in my office room, which is pretty cool. Don't need to charge my. All right. So, right, I gotta remember this over here too. Yeah, I want to see what that platinum. Okay, the Russell. We'll check the platinum in a sec, but The Russell's going to open here in about a minute. Let's keep an eye on it together. All right, market's opening in 30 seconds. You guys are on a little bit of a delay. I'm not really sure how much, so just keep that in mind. At some point, I can do the ultra low latency. All right, 25 seconds. Let's get ready to rumble. Am I allowed to? That's trademarked, so I'll probably get like a copyright infringement if I sing, you know, like the boxing guy, let's get ready to rumble. We can't even do that. Otherwise it'd be fun to say that. All right, we've got 5 seconds. And there's the open. See what happens. I'm gonna kind of set the tone for the rest of the day. Go ahead and shut my door here. Looking, you can see choppy. This is the Russell 2000 March contract. Again, I'm just kind of curious to see if it pops up to the daily high from today, which is right at the middle of the moving average envelope here, which is right at the weekly point of control from last week. Just looking at the volume profile and some other charts here. Alrighty, so far not a lot of volatility at the open. Not looking like we're gonna get a spike on the Russell. We might. This thing can move once it gets going. Let's take a quick look at the ES, S&P 500, trying to push higher. There you go. ES is pushing a little higher. So the Russ, there's the NASDAQ. The Russell will probably follow it to the upside, yeah. I'm not interested in trading any of these right now. The Dow and the Russell are kind of subdued at the moment. Take a look at the Ultra Bond. That's good. We're getting a little bit of a bounce in the Ultra Bond. Maybe we can get a short set up for the 10 o'clock hour. We'll see. Let's look at gold. Doing a whole lot on nada. Let's look at silver. Similar. Not a lot shaking there. Look at copper, nothing. Platinum leaking lower. Platinum breaking my heart. I didn't get that short. Letting it go. Gotta let it go. Let it go. Crude is just getting smoked. Kind of curious to see what happens with the crude support level down here. Not going to do anything on crude today, but it looks like a pretty nasty day for crude oil longs. I'm glad I'm not long, although I am bullish for the month, but big down day so far. Let's see, natural gas. The dollar's kind of, yeah, the euro's rallying a little. It's kind of, check, here's the corn. Pretty quiet day overall, I must say. Not a whole lot shaken. Go back to the Russell. So with the NASDAQ here, the NASDAQ is, you know, pushing higher up into the volume area from earlier. You've got the value area. Well, let's go ahead and check that over. On the NASDAQ, you've got the weekly point of control from last week. Very interesting. Coming in at got a pretty nice resistance level there, actually. I'll give you that exact level, which is 16,572 is where we have the weekly point of control from last week. Probably going to go test that. And you know, I think there's going to continue to be quite a lot of resistance here. Generally, I don't like to short against what could be. There's a lot of resistance up here, so I think depending on where this hourly bar closes, I would prefer to short bonds, to be honest, but we'll see. There might be a short up here at the 10 o'clock close for the NASDAQ, depending. We're going to have to wait and see. Let's look at daily profile here. So you've got this is the RUS. Go to the NASDAQ. Here you can see the current NASDAQ. Again, weekly point of control. Back up around. Again, we're a pretty long way away from the daily point of control down here. So it'll be interesting to see if a bunch of volume starts coming in at the weekly point of control, and if it shifts the daily point of control up here, and if price starts moving down, that would be our there you can see the, I'm going to go back to, so here you guys can see the daily point of control for the NASDAQ is 16,440 now. Now, you can see how far it's sticking out. It's right here. So once we get up to the, I'm curious to see, we're getting up to the point of control from last week at 16,572. I want to see how much volume comes in up here. Because this might be, or is it 572? Yeah, I think it's 572. It's up in here. Might be setting up for a short at the 10 o'clock hour. We'll see. But this is how we prepare with the volume profile. I want to see if a lot of volume comes on up here and starts to hammer this price down. And there you can see that was the value area high from Friday, right there. Going across untested value area high. So we could see one of these 2-bar, you know, if we squeeze through the weekly point of control and then pop up like that, that can sometimes be a beautiful 2-bar extension reversal for bang like that. Maybe. I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but I'm interested. Okay, let's look at bonds. There's the ultra bond. I'd like it to go a little bit higher than this. See, bonds aren't buying what stocks are selling right now. What I mean by that is that the bond market is not, so far, not agreeing with this big, you know, rip up on the NASDAQ. So if we look at gold and silver, are they buying it? Nope, silver's not buying it. Gold, not buying it. But the dollar is a little weaker today, so that's gonna help support stocks a little bit. Go ahead and just look at wheat. Here's wheat. Not doing a whole lot there. Look at soybeans. Big drop down. Commodities are just getting smoked here. Interesting to see. All right, let's go back to the NASDAQ. Kind of interested. See what happens here. Water. Right, that's what I wanted to check for platinum. It's 9:38. We got plenty of time until our 10 o'clock close, but I want to see. Oh yeah, platinum would have just I'm just looking at the another volume indicator I use. There's a great short up here. I like to learn from each trade that I take and each trade that I should have taken but didn't see it. Constantly learning. It's an evolving process. All right, let's look at NASDAQ. We want to keep an eye on. All right. So we have shifted the daily. Did we shift the daily point of control? We didn't. No, it's still where it was before. Okay, so we're just going to wait for this to develop a little bit. I'm just going to pause the camera. I'll be right back. And good to step away, come back, step away, come back. So. Alrighty, let's go ahead and see what we got shaken for the 10 o'clock hourly close here coming up. Let's start. Well, we're looking at the NASDAQ now. This could be an hourly exhaust. As I mentioned, we are challenging last week's point of control. You've got several swing highs up here. So pretty interesting. 16.5, 16.6. There's a lot of resistance here. So this could be an exhaust for a move back down. Let's take a quick look at the daily volume profile, how it's shifting. Volume coming in up here. So we'll see. I think if we can get a lot of volume coming in here, I might be interested, especially if we could shift the value area higher and shift the point of control higher. Not looking likely at this exact moment, but let's see. There's the NASDAQ. Let's go ahead and look at the Russell. Yeah, kind of what I said at the beginning of the day. I expect the Russell to be weak, and that is what we're seeing. Which means if the Russell's heading lower, you know, we've got a divergence now between the NASDAQ and the Russell. So the question is, you know, is the Russell going to catch up to the NASDAQ, or is the NASDAQ kind of, you know, overextending and going to catch back down based on the charts? I would say the NASDAQ's probably going to hit some pretty good resistance up here. With that said, I like to wait for trades I really like. This could be a good exhaust to go short the NASDAQ, but it also could be, you know, it's a little bit dangerous when you have these, you know, these highs could break. We'll see. Still have about 10 minutes to go here until the 10 a.m. hourly close. Let's look at the 30-year Treasury. Oh, I like these a lot better. This is what I like a lot better. Okay, so I'm not interested in the NASDAQ. I'm more interested in Treasury bonds. I might have to take a shot at that double top. For now, outside the value area, I think this could be a potentially decent short, depending. I mean, I guess we could punch all the way back up here today, certainly. Looking at the volume profile on the weekly from last week. Yeah, there's definitely some resistance potential up here. I'll keep an eye on it as a possibility. The hardest part about these trades is on the daily, you know, you're potentially pushing up out of support. We do have a lot of resistance here, as I talked about earlier, but then I'm betting on that holding and pushing down. That could happen. But let's just see where this closes. I'm interested. Ultra bonds, also interested. That's where we got shut down during London. There's some volume coming in here in the ultra bonds, you can see. What we want to see as this volume here starts to come in, what starts happening to price to push it lower or higher. Here you can see right now the volume is pushing ultra bonds higher. Keep an eye on this here. Let's look at gold. You know, gold's pretty weak, but I don't think I'd want to sell this. We're not really near the value area high. Let's look at silver. I mean, silver overall is a nice weak market right now. So we'll see about silver. So, I mean, if silver and gold are going to continue to be under pressure, then it could be that bonds are getting ahead of themselves. But let's look at the 10-year here. Yeah, the 10-year. Got last week's point of control right up in here on the 10-year. But the 10-year is making daily new highs here, right? See past that double top. And you see how the ultra bonds so far haven't reached that double top. So that would I probably wouldn't short the ultra bonds here, seeing that the 10-year right now is blasting up and through, right? So if anything, there's probably a good catch-up trade from the ultra. I'm not a catch-up trader, but for the ultra bonds to catch up potentially the 10-year. I don't think I want to short this right here. You guys will learn, you know, when everything's clicking and it looks good, you take them. Like the one I really like from today, as we all know, is platinum. Missed it, but just because you missed that one, you don't want to go in taking subpar trades, right? That doesn't make any sense. You got to preserve your capital, right? So for the 10 o'clock hour coming up here shortly, I mean, silver's pretty darn weak. It's also in a tight range. Kind of still by the point of control. Not really anything I'm super crazy about. At least the NASDAQ is, you know. Let's see, oh, there we go. We shifted the point of control. So all that volume is coming in now. So that's going to be really key. We shifted the value area. This is exactly what I'm covering in my YouTube videos. See how the value area now shifted? We're up here. The volume point of control shifted here. So last week's value area high for the weekly, nice low volume up there. Low volume, yeah, that's 16,640, just a little bit higher. So I think, yeah, maybe probably definitely not going to short here. You're breaking that extension. So that as that volume is coming in, we're pushing higher, right? So I think we're going to go even higher. So, well, do I want to go long? No, because it's not a long pattern for me, but it at least just helps me filter out and know when to not take the short. Let's look at ES. Tricky with that outside bar there. That's why I'm being very careful today, you guys. Outside bar. Dow. The Dow is pushing lower. I mean, the Russell's not going anywhere. NASDAQ might be getting a little ahead of itself, but I just don't. That could be a big exhaust there for sure. But there's something I'm just not crazy about it. And when I'm not crazy about a trade, I don't force it. Just like the 30-year is not looking bad, but 10-year here pushing higher makes me not want to short. It would end up being a good short here for the ultra bonds. But you see, you got kind of a mixed bag today too. You've got the dollar against the euro. The dollar's kind of grinding higher. You know, bonds are kind of steady. It's not really a clean day. And you know from experience, you know, watching these markets and looking at how they all interact with each other, you kind of know when you should just not force the issue. And today I'm kind of seeing evidence of that. So just a good day to exercise caution. You know, if we do end up pushing way up here, I think that'll be potentially high of the week up in here. We'll see. All that volume you can see now is coming in and driving the NASDAQ higher. But the Russell is not following. Not yet. Well, there goes the Russell. Dow's probably starting to follow a little bit now too. The Dow will probably suck up here and follow the NASDAQ higher, but I don't feel like taking that trade right now. The Russell, outside bar, I don't really like that. I just don't like where we are. I'm a very patient, selective trader, as you guys can tell. I just don't take trades unless I like everything about them. I try not to. So this is the E-mini S&P 500. Definitely be some resistance up in here. I like to trade the hourly patterns into, you know, key areas for the daily. And right now I don't really have any key areas, even though you've got some resistance up in here. It's just not a clear day with these quasi outside bars. Look at the NASDAQ real quick. 9:59 a.m. So we're gonna need a close here in 30 seconds. Here's the bonds. 10-year is also trying to push higher. Let's look at the ultra. That's breaking that extension. Kind of a mixed bag. Well, silver here. This is kind of interesting. Gosh. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to read today, guys, to be honest with you. So I'm not going to force it. I mean, it's a decent little short pattern up there for sure for silver. What's the volume? But with bonds looking like they maybe want to push higher, maybe. Hard to say. I think that's an exhaust right there for the NASDAQ. I really do. But we closed outside the value area high. Nah, don't want to short that. Gold, silver. Yeah, I'm gonna just hang tight here, you guys. There's just nothing kind of screaming out at me right now. Very mixed bag. Euro's pushing higher, so the dollar's getting a little weaker. Gold and silver could rally on the back of a weak dollar, at least recover a little bit. We'll see. Kind of tricky. Bonds are pushing higher. Yeah. You know, I think I'm just going to let this day go. You guys have been at this now for a couple of hours, and I'm not really seeing a whole lot that's clear, and I prefer to wait and trade on days when it's really clear. Today's kind of a mess. I'm going to go to the gym, and, you know, if I feel up to trading the close later, I might live stream it, but for now, I'm going to just call it a day, no trades, and either I'll be back later to live stream the close if something's happening and I feel rested, or I will be back in the morning to stream tomorrow, and we'll get some clarity as these markets settle. Take care, everybody. Thanks for being here, and we'll continue to keep it all going.